Welcome back to part 3 of a 3-part series of the Sugar Skull and Candy Heart. I'm glad you can make it for the last stretch of this project. And before we get started, as usual, I'll run us through a little bit of the house cleaning. If you like my channel, please click the like and subscribe button below. If you'd like to support our time together, I encourage you to visit my Etsy store, Weaving Weird Studio, to purchase yourself maybe a pattern or a small gift. In addition, I am not sponsored by anyone, nor do I have any affiliates. So all the opinions and designs on this channel are my own unless otherwise stated. All right, let's get started. So to pick up from where we left off last time, the practice of honoring the departed souls of loved ones with skulls and offerings was not only a Central and South American tradition, it was also a Celtic tradition. The Celtic tribes viewed skulls as the house of the soul, and sometimes they made offerings of them to the waters and sacred wells. These skulls were also used to decorate entrances of ritual spaces and sacred grounds. It was suggested that the Celts believed the eyes and the mouth of the skull act as gateways for receiving or accepting knowledge from our higher powers. They also believed that these openings within the skull acted as conduits so that they could better access their ancestors and their loved ones who had also passed. Within the Christian faith, there is also precedence for the use of skulls. The skulls can be a friendly reminder for Christians that death is a constant companion that should be respected but not feared. Also, that because our time here is finite, we should make the most of it in a way that contributes to the growth of our spirituality and our souls. It can also be a representation of Christ's love and protection for those who follow him. It's interesting to note that the crucifixion of Jesus Christ took place in Golgotha. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, let me know. Which means actually the place of the skull. In other words, if you see a crucifix with a skull and crossbones under it, you can be pretty certain that the message that they're trying to convey with this piece is that souls are able to triumph over death and have eternal life through Christ's sacrifice. Please don't take my word as the gospel for all this information. I encourage you to do your own research and to come up with your own conclusions. Now, the moment everyone's been waiting for, that last little bit of this particular design. I will leave you to it, and we will be back in just a moment. Thanks. And now we're beginning with row 15. So in row 15, we're going to single crochet the next 9 single crochets. So we're going to begin with chain 1 and then 9 single crochets in the next stitches. And then I'm going to chain 6. And I'm going to skip 4 of the single crochet stitches. And I'm going to single crochet in that 5th stitch. And then from there, I'm going to single crochet 44 single crochets. I'm going to chain 6 more. I'm going to skip 4. And slip stitch into the first single crochet chain of row 15. And then at this point, we're going to end, right? However, we're going to pick right back up with the pink. So just hang in there with me. I'll show you what we're going to do. So with your work facing you, the right side of it, you're going to start by counting 3, 1, 2, 3 single crochets from your chain 6 space. I'm going to begin by making a slip stitch. And then from here, I'm going to want to make 12 double crochets in this chain 6 space. And once you've double crocheted 12, I'm going to single crochet the next 10 spaces. And now we're going to double crochet 12 more in this chain 6 space. I'm going to skip the next 2 single crochets and then single crochet, or I'm sorry, I should say slip stitch in that next single crochet space. And then slip stitch 3 additional stitches, and then chain 1. Okay. So, and this is what row 16 should look like when it's finished, or something similar to this. And again, these ends, I'll work these ends in as we go along. That's kind of how I do it. So with row 17, going to turn. And we're going to do a treble crochet. Into the first double crochet of the chain 6 space. And then chain 1. And then treble crochet in the next double crochet space. So we're going to do this 10 more times to give us a total of 12 treble crochets. And we're going to skip the next 4 single crochets. And then single crochet once and single crochet twice. And we're going to go ahead and do a treble crochet in the first double crochet. Chain 1, next treble crochet, and the next double crochet, chain 1. And we're going to do this so that just like the first lobe of the heart, we're going to have 12 total treble crochets on this next lobe of the heart. I'm going to skip the next 3 stitches and slip stitch. And chain 1. I'm going to turn my work. So this is where we're at so far. We're almost finished with the pink. We have one more row, row 18, before we start doing the lace work around the heart. So the first thing we're going to want to do is single crochet the next 65 stitches. So 65 stitches should bring you right up to the center of the bottom point of your heart. And in the 66 space, going to crochet 3 single crochets together. Then we're going to continue on for another 14 single crochets to finish the round. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch the pink and end it. So we're going to go ahead and end this pink by slip stitching it into the first single crochet of row 19, or sorry, row 18. If you've hung in with me this far, congratulations. It's my first tutorial, so now obviously there's a lot of work to still be done, but you know, the first step always begins with the first step. So so this is where we are at so far, right? Almost there though. The last thing we have is the lace, the finishing touch of this heart. Well, sorry, it's not the last thing that we have. The last thing that we have is the bow. So now we're going to start with the blue, and we're going to get the lace aspect of our heart done. Almost there. We have lace, and then we have the bow. So we're going to start by going back to where we ended with the last row, and we're going to slip stitch the blue into this first single crochet of row 18 to begin our row 19. Going to chain 1, and then with this one we're going to single crochet in the same space. And then single crochet the next 82 stitches. So row 19 is completed. Don't forget to slip stitch it. So for row 20, I'm going to chain 4. We're going to skip a single crochet, and we're going to double crochet into the next single crochet. And then chain 2, skip a stitch, and then chain a double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 2, skip a stitch, and then double crochet in the next stitch. So you're going to want to have 11 double crochets, and then this chain 4 here is actually considered another double crochet with the chain 2. So we're going to want 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you can see where we're at right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another double crochet, right? So you notice it's just chain 2, double crochet. And then I'm going to do another double crochet, but I'm also going to skip these 2 single crochets. So we're going to do a double crochet and end up in this spot right here. Okay, as you can see. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to double crochet into this single crochet spot. Skip 1, chain 2, double crochet in the next single crochet space, and continue as before. Okay. So from here, we're going to want 21 of these double crochet and 2 chain combos. So we're down here at the point of our heart. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to double crochet in that same single crochet spot, right? Going to skip the next single crochet, right? And I'm going to double crochet in that spot. So this is what we have. And we're going to continue as before. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to finish this row up by making a slip stitch in the third or second chain of the first 2 chain, or I'm sorry, of the first 4 chain stitch that began our row 20. So now we've completed row 20, and we have one more row to complete this basic part of the heart, row 21. And after we've slip stitched, we're going to do a single chain, and then in that same space I'm going to do a single crochet and then a picot. Okay, a picot is a 3 chain picot. So for those of you who don't know how to do this, I'll go very slowly, and this is going to be what makes the points on the lace for this piece. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to slip your hook into these first 2 loops that you see in the front, and you're going to pull through your yarn, and then you're going to pull it through again, and that makes your first picot. So then we're going to single crochet in the chain 2 space, and if you can see, you've got your first picot and your chain 1, or your single crochet in your chain 2 space. And then in your double crochet, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a single crochet and then a 3 chain picot again. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put it right through those first 2 loops, and then pull through the loops, and then pull through the loop on your hook to create your next picot. And then you're going to single crochet in the two chain space. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So again, single crochet in the double crochet stitch, chain 3, put your hook through these 2 loops right here, these 2 front bars, I guess, and then pull your yarn through, and then up again through that next loop, and then single crochet in the next double crochet, chain 3, put your hook through these first 2 bars, these front 2 bars, pull through, and then pull through again, and then single crochet in the chain 2 space. When you get all the way around, go ahead and slip stitch. And then weave your end back through. I'm going to hold that right there until I get my needle out and ready. So this is what I have. Okay. You notice it's kind of poochy and sort of not very well shaped. And well, yes, they're all going to look like this. Just so this is one of the reasons why blocking is so important, right? So I'm going to show you real quick what that looks like. And I know a lot of us really don't like to block because it's kind of an extra step. It's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but really it's worth the effort. It's really very much worth the extra step and the extra wait time. So when you block a piece, you're going to use most likely some kind of a blocking board. And then you're going to take your piece, and you can see I have one right here that's drying. And you're going to whatever, whatever system you choose to block, and blocking can vary depending on the yarn and the actual fiber that you're using. So this is something you're going to want to explore a little deeper. But for example, this is 100% cotton. So getting it wet or using a wet blocking technique is perfect for this. And so for cotton, I like to use hot water. Not everyone does. But what you're going to do is you're going to get it wet, and you're going to then place it on the board, and you're going to stretch it out, and you're going to shape it the way you want to while you're putting the pins in it. And the pins are going to hold it in place while it dries. And then once it's dry, you're going to have a piece that looks like this, right? It's not going to be puckered. It's not going to be rolling in any directions you don't want it to be. It's going to be nice and flat. Some people are going to want to use starch, and you may want to use starch to make it a little stiffer. I not with these pieces. This isn't something I'm personally going to put starch on, but it's something you may want to explore. And so you'll want to do your research on that, because this is a lot of work on a piece, and you really don't want to ruin it if you can avoid doing that. So now that we have this part finished, right, and we've discussed blocking, the next thing that we're going to do is the bow. And the bow is super simple. And there's not a lot that's going to that's going to be problematic as far as the bow is concerned. It's pretty straightforward. So get that ready. All right. So the bow is really simple, right? I'm going to go ahead and get this started. And in this case, I'm going to leave a bit of a tail because I'm going to have to weave this in, right? I'm not going to be able to weave this in as I crochet. It's not going to work out very well for me. I can give it a try, but if I, have a longer tail, that also gives me the option to just use a needle and weave it in when I'm finished. So we're going to chain 12. Okay, so we got 12. And then I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then continue with the next 10 chains. The same thing. Maybe. I really like the look of this yarn, but this particular yarn can get a little fiddly. And that's going to give us 11 chain or 11 single crochets plus a chain. Then we're going to turn. And then I'm going to single crochet the next 10 single crochets. And yeah, apparently I was able to. I'm going to go ahead and weave that end in as I crochet. And again, another chain. I'm going to turn. And I'm going to single crochet in the next 10 single crochets. And we're going to do this another 4 rows, which will give us a total of 6 rows. Okay, so I have 6 rows. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a nice long tail, because this is not only going to serve, this tail is not only going to serve as the center part of the bow, but it's also, I'm also going to use it as a way to tack or sew the bow onto my little skull head. And first decide which side I like best, which is my front side, and this is what I feel is to be my front side. So I'm going to work towards the back. And I'm going to just weave my yarn through these the back loops of this swatch. And as I do that, I am going to make my way to the center part of the bow, or of the swatch, which will be my bow, of course. All right, so you kind of see how that's working. And then I'm going to do sort of a running stitch, if you like. I'm going to kind of do a running stitch through the bow, through the center of the bow. Okay, and just going to be careful of this corner, because this corner will actually pull a little bit, and so we don't want that to happen. But the reason why I do this running stitch is to just kind of give me a start. It's just try to pull the center of this bow together. And once I pull it together, I will take this yarn, this tail, and I will just wrap it several times around the center, which gives it the center bow tie. And when I feel like my wrap is thick enough, I will kind of sew it into the fabric a little bit. And as I do so, I'm going to hide it behind the wrap. All right, so this will keep the wrapping in the center of my bow from moving, and it'll also hide my tie. Okay, I'm going to play with it a little bit. I'm going to get it shaped out the way I like it. And I'm going to stick this right back through once again. And then I'm going to kind of decide where I want it on the skull. Sort of like, I kind of like my bows to the center or to the side of the skull. I think it looks real cute like that. But some people, you know, they decide they want it in the center of the skull, and that's okay. And maybe you want your skull to be a mister. And so in order to do that, we take that bow and just put it right down here at the bottom too, to give it kind of that bow tie look as opposed to that top of the head look. But I'm going to make my skull a Mrs. And I am going to put that right up here at the top, right? And then I'm going to just, you know, tack it on, sew it on, you know, in a way that I hide my stitches inside the piece, but I'm able to also tack down the bow. And there you go, once you have properly blocked. So for example, for this yarn right here, I'm just going to use straight water. Straight, just regular, everyday, cold water. And I'm going to pin it and shape it onto the block. And then once it dries, it'll look something like this once I've had a chance to stretch it out. And we got this, and of course this, and then let's not forget the block. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to leave comments. This is all new to me, so I'm still learning, and I'm learning with you. We're learning together, I guess, is the best way to put it. And I appreciate your support, and I hope you go forth and have a fantastic day. This concludes the third part of the 3-part series of Sugar Skull and Candy Heart. I want to thank you again for joining me. It's been my pleasure. And also to all you crocheters and lace makers, all you weavers and artists, you are my tribe. And so for that, I thank you. Until we meet again, stay creative.